Okay, very good. Now, the next thing we're going to do is the minus front. It is the second button on the Pathfinder tool. If you mouse over it, you can see it says minus front. So let's make this cheese. First thing we're going to do is make a rectangle. And now what we're going to do is create kind of like a cookie cutter. We're going to create a bunch of separate, and I'm going to make them a different color just so you can see what's going on. A separate bunch of circles or ellipses, discs, filled discs, or whatever you want to call them. And what the minus front does is it minuses everything that's in front of the shape. So now if I draw my selection rectangle and I hit that minus front, it takes all of those and makes a hole. These are not, this is very important, this is not a orange square with a bunch of white ellipses. What we have here is not a bunch of white ellipses. We have actual holes in the shape. And so the minus front would take any shape that is in front of another one, select just these minus the front, and if we do our Command Y, you can see that that is a shape onto itself. So what the minus front does is it takes any shape that's in front and takes it away from the back. So it becomes its own shape. As you can see, I could put a stroke on this and it will go around that shape. Okay. So you can see by using two shapes, you can cut one with the other. Okay, I guess what I did here is this is another good technique. You know, if you do a Command C, that copies it, and a Command V pastes it, and so you can duplicate that way. But there's also a different way in Illustrator. If you do a Command C and a Command F, yes, F for front, it will paste another copy in front. So if I was to make this a different color, you can see that it created one shape on top of another. So Command C, Command F pastes a copy exactly on top of the original. So you can imagine if you did a Command C and a Command B pastes it exactly in back. So there it is. It doesn't look any different, but there is a shape in the back. So if I fill that back shape with black and with my directional arrows, I can move that back copy and it looks like that shadow. So Command C, Command F pastes it in front. Command C, Command B pastes it in back. The good thing is that it stays selected. So if I was to Command C this and Command F, notice that it is still selected, so I can change it to a different color and then move it. So Command F, Command B, very important, and that's how I made that cheese with a shadow. But the key here is that you can trim one shape using another shape. For example, this moon, I'm going to create an ellipse. Holding my shift, I can make the perfect circle. Interestingly, if I hold shift and option, the circle will grow from the center as opposed to growing from the side. So here it's growing at an angle. If I hold option, it grows and shrinks from the center. So I'm going to create an ellipse. Then I'm going to move this other ellipse over to the side. Right when I get it in position, I will hold the option key. It makes a duplicate. Then, because this green is in front of the yellow, I can do my selection rectangle, do the minus front, and I have a beautiful crescent moon, which I can then add the stars. So instead of creating a crescent moon with the pen tool or whatever tool, I can use one shape to minus the one behind it. So let's say, for instance, I want the star in front of the moon. I can select them both, hit minus front, and all of a sudden I have some stars showing through the moon. Oops. Oh, the moon was in front. Did you see that? Because the moon was in front, it minus the moon from the star. So what I want to do instead is maybe move the star to the front using Command Shift bracket. There we go. So we can see that we have this beautiful moon that we are creating using the minus front. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We got the Saturn. Well, let's see what this does. Look, there's a half circle right here that sort of makes it look like the ring goes around. So let's create our ring first. Okay, here's our ring. Then I do a Command C, that copies it, and then a Command F. That pastes a whole nother copy in front. I'm going to turn it to a different color. Now look, now that it's selected, I can move this down a little bit and this up a lot. Move this in, and look. What I can do is select both of these shapes. We have an oval over an oval. Hit my minus front, and I have the perfect, the perfect Saturn ring. Then I'm going to create an ellipse, starting in the center, holding my shift so it's a perfect circle, and holding Option so that it grows from the center. I will make my beautiful planet portion, and I'll just change the color so I can see what in the world is going on. But how do we make this ring look like it's going behind? What I'm going to do on this, I'm going to use the scissors, cut here and here, so I have two shapes, and I am going to move this one to the back. And there we have a Saturn that looks like the ring is going around. Now, so there it is. That's how you do the Saturn ring, using the minus front. Again, what the minus front does is whatever shape is in front of another shape, it'll take that away. So if you imagine this being like a cookie cutter, the cookie cutter will take a piece out of the shape that's behind it. So if you wanted to create, and this just coming to me as I'm doing this, you wanted to create a wrench, for example. You could unite these so that they're one shape, and then with the polygon tool, just say, I don't know, eight sides. I don't know. I guess I don't use wrenches that much. I can move it in here. And then minus the front. And you can see I have a wrench. It's using the minus front.